In a world that glorifies loudness, rapid replies, and the relentless pursuit of dominance, Zen Buddhism offers a paradoxical yet powerful alternative. True mastery lies in silence. Imagine a person who sits motionless in a garden, their presence so profound that even the wind slows as it passes by. No words are spoken, no debates are waged, yet those who cross their path feel an inexplicable shift in their own energy. This is the art of outsmarting without a word, a path rooted in mindfulness, detachment, and the strategic use of stillness. The Zen proverb, "The loudest thunder is the silence of a wise mind," cuts through the noise of modern life. It challenges the notion that intelligence must be spoken or proven through verbal dominance. Instead, it suggests that the deepest wisdom is often invisible, operating in the quiet spaces between action and reaction. To harness this power, one must learn to wield silence not as emptiness, but as a strategic weapon, a mirror that reflects truth, a blade that cuts through chaos without lifting a finger. The silent mind as a strategic weapon. Consider the story of an elder meditating in a stone garden before dawn. As passers-by move through the area, something remarkable happens. Gossips fall silent, laughter softens, and even the wind seems to pause. The elder's calm presence disrupts the energy of others without a single word. This is not magic. It is the result of a mind emptied of noise, a heart detached from the need to control or dominate. In Zen, this is called presence, the ability to influence without effort. It is here that the foundation of silent wisdom is built. Why silence disarms. When we speak, we reveal our intentions, our weaknesses, and our fears. Silence, however, conceals nothing and exposes everything. Picture a young man brimming with fire, determined to outthink the elder with sharp questions. He challenges morality, ego, and power, yet the elder's response is a gentle stare. The silence grows heavy, reflecting the young man's own insecurity back at him until he retreats, humiliated, not by words, but by his inability to withstand the void of non-reaction. Here lies the first lesson. Silence cannot be provoked or defeated. It turns the energy of others against themselves. Buddha's teachings on ego and non-attachment central to Buddhist philosophy is the idea that attachment to ego, the need to win, to defend, or to prove oneself, creates suffering. When someone hurls insults or demands a response, the wise person does not catch the fire being thrown. Instead, they let it fall harmlessly to the ground. By detaching from the need to react, they disarm even the most aggressive opponent. This is not passivity, it is strategic non-engagement, a choice to step outside the game altogether. The power of observation. Zen teaches that true intelligence lies not in quick judgments, but in deep perception. A merchant once mocked quiet observers as weak, only to be outsmarted by an elder who took him on a silent walk through a forest. The elder pointed to hidden paths and blooming ponds, forcing the merchant to realize he had looked but not seen. This mirrors a profound truth. Those who speak least often understand most. By observing without reacting, we gather information others miss, uncover hidden motives, and gain clarity that words cannot provide. Why this matters today. In a world obsessed with speed, volume, and dominance, the art of silent wisdom offers a revolutionary approach to conflict, leadership, and personal growth. It teaches us to pause before reacting, to listen without judgment, and to let others reveal themselves through their own noise. When practiced consistently, this discipline transforms not just how we interact with others, but how we relate to our own minds. It is a path to inner freedom, one where you no longer need to win arguments because you've stepped beyond the need to engage in them at all. As we journey into the teachings of Zen and Buddhism, we'll explore how silence becomes a tool for psychological advantage, how non-reaction mirrors truth, and how patience outlasts aggression. But more than that, we'll discover that outsmarting others without words is not about defeating them. It's about dissolving the illusions that keep us trapped in cycles of ego and conflict. The quietest minds, after all, often see the deepest truths, and in seeing them, they walk untouchable, unshaken, and forever free. The silent mind as a strategic weapon. In the vast landscape of human interaction, where words often serve as weapons and debates as battlegrounds, Zen Buddhism introduces a counterintuitive yet profoundly effective approach, the silent mind as a strategic weapon. This concept challenges the conventional wisdom that equates intelligence with eloquence and victory with verbal dominance. Instead, it posits that true power lies in the ability to remain calm, observant, and strategically silent. This silence is not mere absence of speech. It is an active, mindful choice that can disarm opponents, reflect truth, and create opportunities for deeper understanding and influence. The strategic power of silence. Silence, when wielded intentionally, becomes a tool of immense strategic value. It allows individuals to step back from the chaos of heated exchanges and observe the dynamics at play. In doing so, they gain clarity that is often obscured by the noise of constant dialogue. Consider the story of the elder in the stone garden. His presence, devoid of words, created a palpable shift in the environment. Gossipers fell silent, loud laughter softened, and even the wind seemed to pause. This was not a coincidence, but a demonstration of how strategic silence can influence the energy of a space and the people within it. The strategic power of silence lies in its ability to disrupt expectations. In a world where quick retorts and aggressive arguments are common, silence stands out. It creates a vacuum that draws attention and forces others to reconsider their positions. When someone remains silent in the face of provocation, it can unsettle the provocateur, making them question their own motives and tactics. This disruption can lead to a shift in power dynamics, giving the silent observer an advantage. Silence as a mirror of truth. Silence also serves as a mirror, reflecting back the true nature of those who engage with it. When individuals encounter silence, they are often confronted with their own thoughts, emotions, and insecurities. For instance, in the story of the young man challenging the elder, the silence that greeted his questions forced him to confront his own restlessness and insecurity. The absence of verbal resistance acted as a mirror, revealing aspects of his character that he might have otherwise overlooked. This mirroring effect can be a powerful tool for both self-awareness and understanding others. When we remain silent, we allow others to project their own realities onto the situation. Their reactions, assumptions, and attempts to fill the silence can provide valuable insights into their perspectives and motivations. By observing these responses without immediate reaction, we gain a deeper understanding of the people around us, enabling us to respond more thoughtfully and effectively. Detachment from ego, the foundation of strategic silence. At the heart of strategic silence is detachment from ego. Buddhist teachings emphasize that attachment to ego leads to suffering and reactive behavior. When we are overly identified with our egos, we feel compelled to defend our opinions, prove our worth, and dominate conversations. This attachment clouds our judgment and limits our ability to respond wisely. By detaching from ego, we free ourselves from the need to constantly assert ourselves. This detachment creates space for strategic silence. When someone launches a verbal attack, the detached individual does not catch the fire being thrown. Instead, they let it fall harmlessly to the ground. This non-reactivity disarms the attacker as their aggression loses its target. The silent observer remains unscathed and maintains control of the situation by refusing to engage in the ego-driven game. The psychological advantage of non-reaction remaining silent in the face of provocation offers a significant psychological advantage. Those who are easily provoked are easily manipulated, as their reactions can be predicted and exploited. In contrast, individuals who master the art of non-reaction remain in control of their emotional states. They do not allow others to dictate their responses, making them less susceptible to manipulation. Consider a scenario where a person is falsely accused or insulted. A reactive response might escalate the situation, leading to further conflict. However, a strategic silence can diffuse the tension. The accuser, expecting a defensive reaction, is instead met with calmness. This response can disarm them, as it does not provide the satisfaction of a heated exchange. Moreover, observers of the interaction are more likely to side with the person who remained composed, as it demonstrates emotional intelligence and self-control. Silence as a tool for influence. Strategic silence is not about passivity, but about influence. When individuals choose silence, they often pique the curiosity of others. This curiosity can create opportunities for deeper engagement when the time is right. By withholding immediate responses, they build anticipation and increase the impact of their eventual words. In leadership contexts, silence can be a powerful tool for guiding others. A leader who listens more than they speak, observes team dynamics without immediate intervention, and allows others to express their ideas can foster a culture of respect and collaboration. Their strategic silence signals confidence and thoughtful consideration, encouraging team members to take ownership of their contribution. This approach can lead to more creative solutions and a stronger sense of collective ownership. Practical applications of strategic silence. To incorporate the strategic use of silence into daily life, one can practice mindfulness and develop awareness of their reactive tendencies. Here are some practical steps. 1. Pause before responding. When faced with a provocation or a difficult question, take a moment to breathe and consider your response. This pause can prevent reactive speech and create space for a more thoughtful reply. 2. Practice. Active listening. Focus fully on the speaker without planning your response. This demonstrates respect and allows you to truly understand their perspective before formulating your own. 3. Embrace discomfort. Silence can be uncomfortable, especially in social settings. Practice sitting with the discomfort and resisting the urge to fill every silence with words. 4. Reflect before acting. After interactions, reflect on moments where silence could have been more effective. Consider how your use of silence aligned with your intentions and adjust accordingly. By integrating these practices, individuals can gradually cultivate the ability to use silence strategically, enhancing their influence and effectiveness in various contexts. Conclusion. The silent mind, when wielded as a strategic weapon, offers a transformative approach to human interaction. It challenges the notion that verbal dominance equates to intelligence and power. Instead, it reveals the depth of influence that can be achieved through calmness, observation, and non-reaction. By embracing strategic silence, individuals can disarm opponents, reflect truth, and create opportunities for greater understanding and harmony. In a world that often rewards loudness, the quiet mind stands as a beacon of wisdom, reminding us that true strength lies not in the volume of our voices, but in the depth of our silence. Strategic non-reaction, the art of letting go. In the intricate dance of human interaction, the ability to react is often seen as a measure of engagement and intelligence. Yet within the Buddhist and Zen teachings lies a profound counter-narrative, the art of non-reaction. This is not a passive withdrawal, but a deliberate and strategic choice to disengage from the ego-driven cycles of provocation and response. It is the practice of letting go, of relinquishing the need to defend, to prove, or to dominate, and in doing so, discovering a deeper form of power and clarity. the ego's grip and the freedom of non-attachment. The ego, in Buddhist thought, is the root of much suffering. It thrives on comparison, validation, and control, constantly seeking to assert itself and protect its territory. When someone criticizes us, our ego instinctively rises to defend its turf, triggering a cascade of reactive emotions: anger, hurt, indignation. But this reactivity is a trap. It pulls us into a turbulent dance where our actions are dictated not by wisdom, but by the ego's fear of being diminished. Zen teaches us to recognize this pattern and to step outside of it. By cultivating awareness of our ego's machinations, we can choose not to engage. This is not about suppressing our feelings, but about creating space between stimulus and response. It is in this space that freedom resides, the freedom to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively, to let go of the need to win the argument, and to prioritize understanding over being right. The dynamics of provocation and the wisdom of non-engagement. When someone throws a verbal barb or challenges us with a provocative statement, the instinct is to retaliate, to meet fire with fire. But this engagement often fuels the flames of conflict, creating a cycle of escalating tension. The wise one, however, recognizes that provocation is more about the provocateur's insecurities than it is about us. By not taking the bait, we deny the provocateur the reaction they seek, thereby neutralizing their power. Consider the metaphor of a fire. If someone hurls a burning coal at you, you have a choice. Catch it and burn yourself, or let it fall to the ground and extinguish. Non-reaction is the practice of letting the coal drop. It is an acknowledgement that the other person's aggression is their issue, not yours. In this way, non-reaction becomes a form of self-protection and a means of preserving our inner peace. Non-reaction as a mirror for self-reflection. Strategic non-reaction also serves as a powerful tool for self-awareness. When we choose not to react, we create an opportunity to observe our internal responses. What arises within us when we feel criticized? Anger, fear, sadness? By witnessing these emotions without immediately acting on them, we gain insight into our patterns of reactivity and the underlying beliefs that drive them. This practice of self-inquiry is central to Buddhist teachings. It allows us to peel back the layers of conditioning and to see more clearly who we are beneath the ego's narratives. We begin to recognize that our worth is not dependent on others' opinions, that our security does not need to be defended, and that our power is not diminished by external circumstances. The ripple effect of non-reaction. The impact of strategic non-reaction extends beyond the individual level. When we choose not to engage in destructive patterns of interaction, we contribute to a more peaceful collective dynamic. Consider a workplace conflict where one person practices non-reaction in the face of a colleague's hostility. Their calmness can diffuse the tension, potentially preventing an escalation that could affect the entire team. On a broader scale, this practice aligns with the Buddhist principle of ahimsa, or non-harming. By not fueling conflict through reactive behavior, we reduce the harm that spreads through interpersonal strife. We become agents of peace, creating ripples of tranquility that can extend far beyond our immediate sphere. Practical applications of strategic non-reaction. To embody the art of non-reaction, we can cultivate several practices. 1. Pause and breathe. When provoked, take a moment to pause and take a deep breath. This simple action can interrupt the reactive cycle and create space for a more thoughtful response. 2. Observe without judgment. Witness your emotions and the other person's behavior without immediately labeling them as good or bad. This detachment allows for clearer seeing. 3. Ask clarifying questions. Instead of reacting defensively, seek to understand the other person's perspective by asking open-ended questions. This shifts the dynamic from confrontation to dialogue. 4. Reflect on your values. Remind yourself of your deeper values: peace, understanding, compassion. Let these values guide your response rather than the ego's fear. 5. Practice forgiveness. Recognize that others' provocations often stem from their own pain. By forgiving them, not as a sign of weakness, but as an act of liberation, we free ourselves from the burden of resentment. Conclusion: the transformative power of letting go. Strategic non-reaction is not about surrendering one's voice or agency. It is about choosing when and how to engage, rooted in a deeper understanding of human dynamics and our own psychological patterns. It is a practice that transforms not only our interactions with others, but also our relationship with ourselves. By embracing the art of letting go, we discover that true strength lies not in dominating every conversation or outmaneuvering every opponent, but in remaining centered, clear, and free. We learn that the most powerful responses are often those that rise from a place of calm awareness, unshaken by the winds of provocation. In this way, non-reaction becomes not just a strategic tool, but a path to liberation. A liberation from the chains of reactivity, from the ego's tyranny, and from the illusion that our worth is determined by external validation. The art of observation, seeing beyond the surface. In the quietude of mindful awareness lies the art of observation, a practice that transcends mere perception and delves into the depths of understanding. To observe is not simply to look or to listen. It is to engage with the world through a lens of attentive presence, where every detail reveals itself like brushstrokes on the canvas of reality. This art form, deeply embedded in Buddhist and Zen teachings, invites us to witness the dance of life with clarity and without judgment, allowing us to navigate its complexities with wisdom and grace. The nature of observation in Buddhist philosophy. Buddhism places great emphasis on the cultivation of awareness, recognizing that much of human suffering stems from a lack of clear seeing. Our minds, often clouded by preconceptions, desires, and aversions, filter reality through a web of delusion. Observation in this context becomes a practice of mindfulness, of being fully present with what is rather than what we think it should be. The Buddha taught that to see things as they truly are, we must develop right view, the first step on the Noble Eightfold Path. This right view is not about adopting a particular perspective, but about seeing through the illusions that distort our perception. It requires us to look beyond surfaces, to penetrate the layers of conditioning and bias that obscure the truth. Observation as a portal to understanding. When we observe with mindful attention, we begin to uncover the intricate patterns that govern human behavior and natural phenomena. We notice the subtleties in facial expressions, the rhythms of speech, the unspoken emotions that lie beneath words. This deep seeing allows us to understand others in ways that transcend superficial judgments. Consider the story of the merchant who accompanied the elder through the forest. Though he looked at the trees and the path and the pond, he did not truly see them. His mind was preoccupied with its own narratives, preventing him from experiencing the present moment. The elder's silence was not an absence of teaching, but an invitation to observe, to see the world anew with fresh eyes. The discipline of non-judgmental awareness. Central to the art of observation is the practice of non-judgment. Our minds are quick to categorize experiences as good or bad, right or wrong, based on our conditioning. But these judgments create distance between us and the reality we seek to understand. They cloud our vision with the dust of our own opinions. To observe without judgment requires discipline. It asks us to set aside our agendas, to suspend our need to control or fix, and to simply witness. This does not mean passivity. Rather, it is an active choice to engage with the world on its own terms. When we observe without judgment, we create space for new insights to emerge. insights that might otherwise be drowned out by our premature evaluations. Observation as a tool for strategic insight. In the realm of human interaction, the art of observation becomes a powerful tool for strategic insight. Those who master this art can read the dynamics of a room, sense the unspoken tensions, and discern the true intentions beneath surface-level interactions. They become like yogis of social landscapes, navigating with an almost supernatural awareness. Consider a negotiator who, through careful observation, notices subtle shifts in body language that reveal a counterpart's anxieties or hidden objections. Or a teacher who perceives a student's disengagement before it manifests in disruptive behavior. These are moments where observation transforms into actionable wisdom, allowing for interventions that are timely and effective. The practice of observing the observer. A profound dimension of this art is the practice of observing the observer, the act of turning our attention inward to witness our own mental processes. This meta-awareness allows us to see how our thoughts and emotions shape our perceptions and reactions. We become aware of the narratives we construct about ourselves and others, and we gain the freedom to choose which stories we believe. This practice is akin to holding a mirror up to our own minds, revealing the habits of thought that often operate beneath our conscious awareness. It requires a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves, the biases we harbor, the fears that drive us, the delusions that comfort us. Yet in this confrontation lies the possibility of transformation, cultivating the art of observation in daily life. To develop the art of observation, we can incorporate several practices into our daily lives. 1. Mindful meditation. Regular meditation strengthens our capacity for sustained attention and helps us recognize the patterns of our minds. It creates a foundation for observant awareness in everyday activities. 2. Walking meditation. By bringing mindful attention to the act of walking, we practice observing the sensations in our bodies, the rhythm of our breath, and the environment around us. This simple practice can heighten our awareness in other contexts. 3. Contemplative journaling. Reflecting on our experiences through writing can deepen our observational skills. Describing events in detail forces us to notice aspects we might otherwise overlook. Active listening. In conversations, practice listening without planning your response. Notice the speaker's tone, pauses, and choice of words. Observe the emotional undercurrents that may not be explicitly stated. 5. Nature observation. Spend time in natural settings, observing the behavior of animals, the patterns of weather, or the growth cycles of plants. Nature offers endless opportunities to practice seeing with fresh eyes. The transformative power of observation. When we commit to the art of observation, we embark on a journey of profound transformation. We begin to see through the illusions that separate us from others and from our true nature. We develop a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all things, recognizing that our actions ripple outward to affect the world around us. This practice also cultivates compassion as we come to see the suffering that underlies much of human behavior. We become less quick to judge and more inclined to respond with kindness and understanding. Our relationships grow richer, our decisions wiser, and our lives more aligned with the truth of our experience. Conclusion: the silent witness. Within the art of observation invites us to become silent witnesses to the unfolding of life. It teaches us that wisdom is not found in the noise of constant analysis, but in the quiet spaces between thoughts. By cultivating this art, we discover that true insight does not require grand gestures or elaborate explanations. It resides in the simple act of seeing clearly, with eyes unclouded by prejudice and a heart open to the mysteries of existence. In mastering the art of observation, we unlock a profound capacity for understanding and influence, one that operates not through force or domination, but through the subtle power of mindful awareness. We learn that sometimes the most profound transformations begin not with a word, not with an action, but with a single, attentive glance. Silence as a mirror, reflecting truth and illusion. In the vast tapestry of existence, silence emerges as a profound mirror, reflecting back to us the raw, unfiltered essence of reality. Within Buddhist and Zen teachings, silence is not merely an absence of sound, but a dynamic force that reveals truths often obscured by the cacophony of words. It is a tool for self-realization, a conduit for understanding others, and a catalyst for dissolving the illusions that cloud our perception. This practice invites us to embrace the quiet spaces where authenticity meets awareness, transforming how we engage with ourselves and the world. The mirror of silence. Reflection without judgment. Silence possesses a unique quality. It reflects without distortion. When we choose silence, we create a reflective surface that mirrors the thoughts, emotions, and intentions of those around us. This reflection is unvarnished, stripped of the filters that language often imposes. It reveals the undercurrents of emotion, the unspoken desires, and the hidden fears that words might conceal or distort. Consider the story of a monk who, when confronted by an angry villager, remained silent. The villager hurled insults, but the monk listened without responding. Eventually, the villager exhausted himself and asked, "Why do you not defend yourself?" The monk replied, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does it belong?" The villager's anger, reflected back to him through the monk's silence, became his own to bear. In this moment, the mirror of silence revealed the villager's turmoil, offering him a chance to confront it. Silence and the illusion of self. Central to Buddhist philosophy is the concept of anatta, non-self. The teaching that our sense of a fixed, independent self is an illusion. Silence, as a mirror, helps dissolve this illusion by stripping away the narratives we construct about ourselves. When we are silent, others project their perceptions onto us, revealing more about their own biases than our true nature. For example, imagine a leader who remains quietly observant during a heated debate. Team members may interpret her silence as agreement, disapproval, or even indifference, depending on their own fears and expectations. In reality, her silence reflects their assumptions back to them, challenging them to question their projections. This dynamic mirrors the Buddhist teaching that our identities are fluid and shaped by the ever-changing perceptions of others. Silence as a catalyst for self-reflection. When we encounter silence in others, it often triggers self-reflection. The absence of external stimulation forces us inward, compelling us to confront our own thoughts and feelings. This can be deeply uncomfortable, as it unveils parts of ourselves we might prefer to ignore, unresolved conflicts, unmet needs, or unexamined beliefs. A powerful illustration of this is the Zen practice of shikantaza, just sitting. In this form of meditation, practitioners sit in silence without specific focus, allowing thoughts to arise and pass. The discomfort that emerges during these sessions, restlessness, boredom, anxiety, becomes a mirror reflecting the mind's restless nature. By observing these reactions without judgment, practitioners gradually develop the capacity to sit with discomfort, fostering resilience and self-awareness. Dissolving illusions through silent presence. Words can obscure as much as they reveal. They are tools of abstraction, distancing us from direct experience. Silence, in contrast, invites us into the immediacy of the present moment, where illusions begin to unravel. Think of a mediator facilitating a conflict. By maintaining a calm, silent presence, they create a container for the parties involved to express their pain. The mediator's silence does not fill the space with solutions, but with a reflective quality that encourages participants to hear their own words anew. Often, it is in these moments of silent reflection that breakthroughs occur, as the fog of distortion lifts, revealing shared humanity beneath opposing positions. Practical applications using silence as a mirror. To harness silence as a mirror in daily life, consider these practices. 1. Listen with silent presence. When someone shares their struggles, offer them the gift of your undivided attention without immediately offering advice. Your silence creates a safe space for them to explore their own truths. 2. Embrace moments of quiet. Incorporate short periods of silence into your routine during meals, walks, or before sleep. Use these moments to observe your mental and emotional states without judgment. 3. Reflective journaling. After interactions where silence played a role, write about what emerged. Note how others responded to your silence and what it revealed about their perspectives. 4. Contemplative dialogue. Experiment with conversations where you speak less and listen more. Observe how your silence shifts the dynamic and what truths surface as a result. 5. Mindful pausing. Before reacting to criticism or praise, pause. Use the silence to reflect on your emotional response and choose a reply that aligns with your values rather than your instincts. The transformative power of silent reflection. Silence as a mirror transforms not only our interactions, but our inner landscapes. It teaches us that wisdom often resides in the spaces between words, where authenticity meets awareness. By embracing silence, we cultivate the capacity to see beyond surfaces, to recognize the illusions that separate us and the truths that connect us. In a world saturated with noise, the practice of silence offers a radical form of clarity. It reminds us that true communication is not always verbal, and that profound understanding can emerge from the quietest moments. When we become adept at using silence as a mirror, we unlock a deeper mode of relating, one that honors the complexity of human experience without the need to simplify or control it. Conclusion: embracing the reflective pause. Silence, as a mirror, is a bridge between the visible and the unseen, between illusion and truth. It invites us to step into the unknown spaces of our minds and hearts, where growth and transformation occur. By practicing silence with intention, we develop the ability to reflect truth back to others and to see through the veils that obscure our own understanding. In doing so, we embody a wisdom that speaks not through words, but through the profound eloquence of presence. The power of pausing, cultivating clarity through mindful hesitation. In the relentless rush of modern life, where decisions are made in seconds and reactions are instantaneous, the practice of pausing emerges as a powerful antidote to impulsive living. Within the teachings of Buddhism and Zen, the pause is not merely a moment of inaction, but a conscious choice to create space between stimulus and response, a moment of mindful hesitation that births clarity and wisdom. This practice invites us to step out of the autopilot mode of existence and into a realm where our actions are guided by intention rather than habit. The pause as a gateway to clarity. When we pause, we interrupt the habitual patterns that often govern our behavior. This interruption creates a gap, a space where we can observe our thoughts and emotions without immediately acting on them. It is in this gap that clarity emerges, allowing us to respond to situations with greater wisdom and compassion. Consider the story of a monk who, when asked a profound question, does not immediately reply. Instead, he takes a moment to breathe, to consider the depth of the inquiry, and to formulate a response that aligns with his wisdom. This pause is not a sign of indecision, but a demonstration of mindful engagement. It reflects a commitment to responding thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. The neuroscience of pausing. From a scientific perspective, pausing activates the prefrontal cortex, the brain region associated with executive functions like decision-making and emotional regulation. When we pause, we allow this part of the brain to engage, overriding the more reactive amygdala-driven responses. This shift enables us to respond to situations with greater self-control and awareness. Research has shown that individuals who practice mindful pausing exhibit lower levels of stress and higher levels of emotional intelligence. They are better able to navigate complex social dynamics and make decisions that align with their long-term goals rather than short-term impulses. Pausing as a practice of self-mastery. The ability to pause is a form of self-mastery. It requires discipline to resist the urge to fill every moment with action or speech. By developing this discipline, we cultivate a deeper sense of control over our lives. We become less reactive and more responsive, less governed by external stimuli, and more aligned with our internal wisdom. In Zen practice, this self-mastery is often cultivated through the discipline of Zazen, seated meditation. During Zazen, practitioners learn to sit with their thoughts and emotions without immediately engaging with them. This practice of mindful sitting translates into daily life, where moments of pause become opportunities for self-awareness and wise action. The ripple effect of mindful pausing, the impact of mindful pausing, extends beyond the individual. When we pause before reacting, we create a more thoughtful and harmonious social environment. Consider a parent who, instead of immediately scolding a child for a misdeed, takes a moment to breathe and consider the situation. This pause can transform a potential conflict into a teachable moment, fostering understanding rather than resentment. In professional settings, leaders who practice mindful pausing create space for more thoughtful decision-making. They listen to their teams, consider diverse perspectives, and respond in ways that promote collaboration and innovation. This practice cultivates a culture of mindfulness and respect, where impulsivity is tempered by reflection. Practical applications of mindful pausing. To integrate mindful pausing into daily life, consider the following practices. 1. The 3-breath rule. Before responding to a challenging situation, take 3 deliberate breaths. This simple practice can interrupt reactive patterns and create space for a more thoughtful response. 2. Mindful transitions. Pause at natural transition points throughout your day, when waking, before meals, or when arriving at a destination. Use these moments to center yourself and set an intention for the next activity. 3. Contemplative listening. In conversations, practice pausing before responding. Allow the other person's words to fully register before formulating your reply. This enhances understanding and deepens connections. 4. Reflective journaling. At the end of the day, reflect on moments where pausing might have transformed an interaction. Note how the practice of pausing aligns with your values and goals. 5. Mindfulness meditation. Regular meditation strengthens your capacity for mindful pausing by training your mind to observe thoughts without immediately engaging with them. The transformative power of pause. The practice of mindful pausing transforms how we relate to ourselves and others. It teaches us that true power lies not in rapid reactions, but in thoughtful responses. By creating space between stimulus and response, we honor the complexity of human experience and respond with greater wisdom and compassion. In a world that values speed and efficiency, the pause becomes a radical act of presence. It reminds us that some things cannot be rushed, that clarity, like a blooming flower, emerges in its own time. By embracing the power of pause, we cultivate a deeper connection to our authentic selves and to the world around us. Conclusion: embracing the pause as a path to wisdom. The power of pausing lies in its ability to transform moments of potential reactivity into opportunities for mindful engagement. It is a practice that honors the depth of our experiences and the wisdom that emerges when we give ourselves time to reflect. By embracing the pause, we step into a more intentional way of living, one where our actions are guided not by habit or impulse, but by clarity and intention. In the quiet spaces between thoughts, between words, between actions, we find the seeds of transformation. The pause is not an absence of activity, but a fertile ground where wisdom takes root. It is here, in these moments of mindful hesitation, that we discover the depth of our inner resources and the breadth of our capacity to respond to life with grace. The silent symphony, harmonizing inner and outer worlds. In the grand orchestra of existence, silence composes a symphony that harmonizes the inner and outer landscapes of our lives. Buddhist and Zen teachings weave this silent melody into a practice that bridges self-awareness and compassionate engagement with the world. It is through this harmony that we discover not only peace within, but also the wisdom to navigate the complexities of relationships, society, and the natural world. This harmony is not achieved through force or control, but through alignment, aligning our actions with our values, our words with our intentions, and our inner truths with the greater good. The harmony of self and other. At the heart of this symphony lies the recognition that the boundaries between self and other are porous. Buddhist philosophy teaches interdependence, pratyasamutpada, the truth that all phenomena arise in relation to one another. There is no isolated self. Our well-being is intrinsically linked to the well-being of others. Silence, as a practice, helps us tune into this interconnectedness, dissolving the illusion of separation. When we sit in silence, we often encounter the noise of our own minds, the chatter of thoughts, the pull of desires, the push of aversions. Yet, within this inner landscape, we also discover a quiet core, a place of stillness that connects us to something larger. This stillness mirrors the peace we can cultivate in the world around us. By nurturing inner harmony through mindfulness and meditation, we become conduits of harmony in our interactions with others. Silent communication, the language of the heart. Beyond words lies a deeper form of communication, a silent dialogue that speaks through presence, intention, and compassion. This nonverbal language is universal, transcending cultural and linguistic barriers. It is the warmth of a smile, the comfort of a listening ear, the strength of a steady gaze. These silent gestures convey understanding and connection, often more powerfully than spoken words. Consider the bond between a parent and child. Long before words are exchanged, they communicate through looks, touches, and shared moments of silence. This primal form of connection reminds us that at our core, we are relational beings. Silence invites us to rediscover this fundamental mode of communication, fostering deeper connections with those around us. Harmony through letting go. To harmonize the inner and outer worlds, we must practice letting go, not as a form of renunciation, but as a release of attachment to fixed outcomes. This is a central theme in Buddhist teachings, where clinging to desires and aversions is seen as the root of suffering. When we let go of our rigid expectations, we create space for life to unfold in unexpected, often more beautiful ways. Imagine a musician who is so focused on hitting every note perfectly that they become jinjang and lose the music's flow. When they relax and let go of perfectionism, the music becomes alive and vibrant. Similarly, when we release our grip on how we think things should be, we align with the natural rhythm of life, allowing harmony to emerge spontaneously. The ecology of silence, harmonizing with nature. The practice of silence extends beyond human relationships to our connection with the natural world. In the stillness of a forest, the rhythmic chant of ocean waves, or the vast silence of mountain peaks, we encounter a profound sense of belonging. These natural settings remind us that we are part of a larger ecosystem, dependent on and interconnected with all forms of life. Many indigenous traditions recognize that nature communicates through silence, a wisdom that modern societies often overlook. By sitting in quiet observation of natural phenomena, we can attune ourselves to the rhythms of the earth, learning patience, resilience, and balance. This harmonious relationship with nature not only benefits our mental and spiritual well-being, but also fosters a commitment to environmental stewardship. Practical applications, building bridges through silence. To cultivate harmony through silence in daily life, consider these practices. 1. Shared silent meals. Create space for connection by enjoying meals in silence with family or friends. Use this time to savor food, observe nonverbal cues, and simply be present with one another. 2. Nature meditation. Spend time in natural settings, observing the silence that surrounds you. Notice how this environment affects your mental and emotional state. 3. Compassionate listening. In conversations, practice listening without the intent to reply. Focus on understanding the other person's experience, allowing silence to deepen the connection. 4. Gratitude in silence. Begin or end your day by silently reflecting on what you are grateful for. This practice cultivates inner harmony and a sense of abundance. 5. Silent acts of kindness. Perform small acts of kindness without seeking acknowledgement. Leave a thoughtful note, prepare a meal for someone in need, or simply offer a warm smile. The transformative power of harmonious living. When we embrace silence as a path to harmony, we transform not only ourselves, but the world around us. We become more attuned to the subtle energies that flow between people and places, responding with greater empathy and wisdom. Our relationships grow more authentic, our communities more cohesive, and our connection to nature more profound. This harmonious way of living is not passive. It is an active choice to align with the deeper currents of life. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to step into the unknown. Yet the rewards are immeasurable, a sense of peace that permeates our days, a deeper understanding of our interconnectedness, and the joy that comes from living in rhythm with the world. Conclusion: the silent dance of life. The silent symphony of harmony invites us to dance with life in a way that honors both our individuality and our interconnectedness. It teaches us that true peace is not found in isolation, but in relationship with ourselves, with others, and with the natural world. By cultivating silence, we learn to listen to the music that underlies all existence, a melody that guides us toward greater understanding, compassion, and unity. Final thoughts: the silent path to wisdom and freedom. Throughout our exploration of Buddhist and Zen teachings, we've uncovered the profound power of silence, observation, non-reaction, mindful pausing, and harmony. These principles invite us to step off the treadmill of automatic living and into a world where wisdom flourishes in the spaces between words and actions. The journey we've embarked on is not just about understanding these teachings intellectually, but about embodying them in our daily lives. It's about transforming our relationship with ourselves and the world through the quiet yet revolutionary act of mindful presence. Silence, as we've learned, is not emptiness, but a fertile ground where understanding and compassion take root. It is a mirror that reflects truth, a weapon that disarms through non-engagement, and a bridge that connects us to our deepest selves and to others. By practicing the art of non-reaction, we free ourselves from the tyranny of ego and the suffering that comes with attachment. Mindful observation allows us to see beyond the surface, unraveling the illusions that blind us to reality. The power of pausing creates a sanctuary of clarity in the chaos of modern life, enabling us to respond with wisdom rather than react with haste. And harmony, both inner and outer, reminds us that we are part of a greater whole, interconnected and interdependent. As we conclude this journey, remember that the path of silence is not a destination, but a continuous practice. It is woven into the fabric of each moment, each breath, each choice to pause, to observe, to let go, and to act with intention. The wisdom of Buddha and Zen, masters throughout the ages, shines through these teachings, offering us a lantern to light our way in the darkness of confusion and reactivity. Just as the Buddha taught, thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the single candle is not shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. In this spirit, we invite you to share these teachings with others. Pass along the wisdom that has touched your heart, for sharing nourishes not only others, but deepens your own understanding. And if these teachings have resonated with you, subscribe to the path of mindfulness and silence. Let these principles guide your daily life, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond yourself. Like a drop of water merging with the ocean, your practice becomes part of the vast current of those seeking peace and wisdom. May these teachings continue to inspire you on your journey. Walk gently, reflect deeply, and remember that in the quietest moments, the loudest truths often speak.